Hello, and welcome to our show for the love of animals. We're so glad you joined us today. All you animal lovers, gather around because we've got some good advice about cats today. I'm Darlene Pigford with Angie.
And I'm Greg Bauer, our little friend Wicket here. He's a little cat shy, I guess, today.
Oh, I doubt that.
And want to tell our viewers about a couple of upcoming shows.
Okay.
One on hunting dogs.
Ooh, that'll go around good in Paducah, Kentucky.
Then some surprises.
Okay, good.
We're going to use a tease now.
Okay.
If we tell you everything that's happening, you won't be surprised.
Oh, come on.
Anyway, so what do we have on tap for today, Darlene?
Well, Greg, we're going to talk about bringing Kitty home.
Oh, okay.
If you are adopting a cat for the first time or bringing a cat into your multi-cat household, we're going to give you some do's and don'ts about how to make this happy transition.
Yeah. And also some ideas about what happens if
in
you
a
have
dog
a
household. Absolutely.
dog household, or bringing a dog into a cat household.
Absolutely. Those are all situations that deserve care.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and our guest to help us talk about these today is Donna Groves, who's a local cat enthusiast here in Paducah.
Hello.
And Donna, thank you so much for sharing time with us today with some of your great thoughts.
Well,
and
thanks for having me.
So glad you're here.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Well, tell us about your fur family.
Well, I have 5 kitties, a deaf kitty, Snowball, one who's almost blind, that's Stevie Wonder, and there's Riley. Riley has 1 eye, and there's Herbie. Herbie has 3 legs, and then there's Hobbit, and that's my fur family.
Oh, wow. Well, Miss Angie is missing a leg and an eye, but you never know it in our household.
Yeah.
The way she gets around, and she says, "Now, Wicket, you get out of my way, because I'm a-coming through." So.
And one thing we should point out to our viewers also is that just because a cat may not be perfect,
Oh, yeah.
don't fail to adopt them.
They make
can
excellent
be
pets.
Just
They do.
as loving, and in fact, maybe even more so sometimes.
Right.
And
In fact, you can go to the website and find our show that Donna did called Handy Cats, where she tells us all about her handy
They're
cats.
just very special.
Yes, very special kitties. So, all right.
well, Donna,
Yes.
we're going to bring kitty or cat, however you want. But bringing cat home didn't sound good.
No, it
Bringing
didn't.
Kitty home.
Bringing Kitty home.
And not from the hospital, but hopefully bringing a cat.
Let's suppose we have a household where there are no pets.
Okay.
What should we be thinking about?
Well, we need to make sure it's a safe environment to bring the cat home into. First of all, we need to look around and make sure that there are no household plants, because a lot of household plants
that's
are poisonous.
Yes.
Easter just passed.
Easter
Easter
lilies.
lilies are poisonous. You need to think about things that you commonly might have out, like chocolate. That's deathly.
Okay.
So keeping in mind
Make it
the
a safe
environment
place. Right.
that you have in your home.
You want to make it a place that the kitty is going to feel safe in the beginning. You want to put him in a small room to begin with.
Okay.
Just a spot where he can get acclimated to the situation.
And feel safe.
And feel safe. A place that has, on one side, his cat food and water, and on the other side, a litter box.
But not together.
But not together. They don't want to go in the same place. And a place that they can get under. If they can get under the bed, if they can get under a couch, they want to get to where they can get beneath something and get hunkered down until they feel safe. Don't force them to come out. Let them wait and do it on their own terms. And wait until they decide that it's time.
And this is true even whether it's a kitten or an adult cat.
Right. They just have to wait until it's on their own terms. It's good if you can take some time and go in there and just sit with them. You don't have to interact with them if they don't want you to. Just sit and read a book. Just
Be there.
Balance your checkbook. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I remember in Pamela Johnson Bennett's books, I think it was Think Like a Cat, where she said that one night she sat down and she fell asleep. And when she woke up, the cat that she had been trying for days to get to was asleep on her shoulder.
Oh.
You know, once she was asleep, the cat went, yeah, she doesn't seem so big and tough anymore. Okay, and that was all it took. Sometimes they just need to see you in a down low position to where you're not so big and yeah.
And people think, they don't probably understand that bringing say like a 4 or 5 month old cat, they have a past. We don't know what that past is, good or bad.
Right.
But they do miss, quote, home. They don't like
what was normal to them. They know what normal was to them. Even in a shelter, like at Project Hope, they went out at certain times. 7 o'clock in the morning, they went out at noon, they went out at 3. The dogs did. The cats are used to being fed at a certain time. They're just used to the way things were. And when that routine is disrupted, it takes a while for them to go, well, at least I know this is a safe place.
Yes, and probably a quiet place to start with.
At first they want to know it's a safe place, it's a quiet place. These big people, look at how big we are in comparison to them. We've got to decide that these big people aren't going to eat me first, that's our first concern. And that I have food, water, a place to go. And we've got to decide these things first before we're ready to venture out.
Okay, so even if you have no pets, you need to set up the environment.
Set up the environment and make sure it's safe once they do get outside.
Okay, and you don't just go and leave them alone. You have to monitor.
You have to monitor them. You have to see what they're reacting to. I had one kitty that when I brought him home from her home from the shelter, I could get a string because it just became obvious that was her thing. And if I moved a shoestring in front of her, she was going after it, and she couldn't help herself, And that was my gateway to interacting with her. Play.
Oh.
And might just make one point here, a common mistake a lot of people do, well, bringing an animal, cat or dog or else, into the home, don't do it at Christmas time.
No.
When there is
absolutely.
all of that excitement and everything, it needs to be as pleasant,
and normal
time.
And one particular thing that's dangerous at Christmas time is tinsel and icicles.
Oh yes.
You don't want those to,
Well, we're getting a good start on this.
Yes,
now,
we've
gotten our kitty home.
Yeah, that's right. We got kitty home.
Let's take a break for just a moment and listen to a happy tale. This is about one of Donna's cats, Riley. Give a listen. I think you'll enjoy this story.
This is a happy tale about Riley. His name is Riley because, well, now he's living the life of Riley. See, he was brought into Project Hope after being tossed out of a moving car. He landed in a ditch on a wet, rainy day where he nearly drowned before someone found him. Some doubted he would ever recover, but he did. The only lingering effects from that awful day is that he can't see out of one eye. But like he says, he's a spoiled, rotten cat, so to make up for it, he loves all the other cats in the house and likes to wash their faces like their mother cats would do. He just wants to share the love.
Welcome back. We hope that you're enjoying our show this afternoon with Donna Groves, and we're getting some really good ideas about bringing Kitty home. We've been talking a little bit about some different places that our viewers can go to for information.
Yes.
Where can they get some more information that will help them in bringing the kitty home?
Well, Donna has been using information from Twisted Whiskers by Pamela Johnson Bennett, and also Think Like a Cat by the same author. This particular lady is from Nashville, Tennessee, and is a pet behaviorist, and she has an awful lot of good material in there. We're only scratching the surface
good
on some of, right, but we are paralleling and presenting some of our ideas with our own experiences. But we highly recommend the books by Pamela Johnson Bennett. So.
And you can get them in your local library. They're available here in
McCracken County Public
But for
Library.
our viewers watching on the web, go to your own public library in whatever city
Yes.
you live in, and the chances are they can get the book for you
Right.
if they haven't. So, well, we've talked a little bit now about the bringing the kitty home in just an environment where
setting
there
up
is
the environment.
Right, there is no other animal in the house. Now, Donna, what happens if we already have a cat?
And
Well,
we're
that makes
bringing
it-
a second cat home.
That makes it a little more complicated.
Okay.
And we've got to make sure that they're going to interact appropriately.
I'm just going to bring Kitty home and open her up and see how the two get along.
That's not a good idea.
You're absolutely right.
It's better if we have something that smells like the new cat,
Okay.
and we give that to the old cat, the one that's already there, like a
Okay.
t-shirt or something, a towel that he's been laying on. We give that to the old cat, and we take something that the old cat likes to lay on, maybe a pillow or a towel, and we give that to the new cat in the room that he's in. That way they're getting used to the smells of each other, and we're going, hey, there's somebody new here. And we're letting them get that curiosity built up without having to interact.
And cats are so sensitive to smell.
They are.
More so than we are, so that's important.
That's important. They're getting the sense that somebody else is there. They're starting to become aware of that. You're letting them process that information, but they're not yet having to interact.
Okay, but you're keeping them separate.
You're keeping them separate.
Preferably in separate rooms. Okay. Yeah, I remember when we did that. We didn't do the T-shirts, but I remember they'd play underneath.
They would play underneath the door.
Yeah.
And it's good to see if one is becoming aggressive with the other paw, like must
Right.
kill this paw.
Right.
Or if they're back and forth going, oh, this is fun.
This
you know.
is fun, right?
And once they get to the point where this is fun, then perhaps you're about to the stage of letting them see each other, you know, while you're holding them or while one is on a leash, where you can contain them.
Oh, that's a good idea to have one on a leash.
Because you want to be able to intervene should it go wrong.
True.
I've often wondered too, does it make a difference, for example, if the age of the cats, if you, and the sex or gender of the cats, if you have, do two females bond together better?
It
male?
depends on the cats,
Yeah.
from what I've been
That's
able
true.
to tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just depends on the cat.
That's what I was thinking.
And cats are amazing how they display their personalities when they want to display their personalities.
And some old cats are grumpy and they don't want a new cat in their life. And some old cats
just welcome it.
A new kitten will just give them
New life.
revitalized, you know, make them, wow, this is great.
Our senior cat who passed away a few years ago would accept any new cat into the house.
Oh,
He didn't care at
He just
all.
was
No,
so gracious. Never a problem at all.
Right.
Never a problem. In reading some of her comments, I noticed she said, if you're bringing a second kitty home, if you can, have a neighbor bring the second cat in. What do you think about that?
I thought that was an interesting comment. I like the idea because then your cat still sees you as being on his side.
And it doesn't resent, like if the old cat resents the new cat,
He
he doesn't resent you for bringing the new cat in. So I thought that was a very clever idea. So if you're bringing a second cat home, if you can, let somebody else bring the cat home, and that way the old cat doesn't blame you.
Right.
I think now I thought that was
I
that's
did too.
thinking like around a cat.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Okay. Anything else we can do bringing the second cat home?
Let's see.
Their food and water, and
You need to make sure that everybody has
they're separate.
their separate water bowls and separate food bowls. And in the beginning, it's important for those to be in very different places. I would put them in different rooms in the beginning.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And then later on, they can all kind of be in the same
and
area.
also, if you can do it with separate toys.
Yes, separate toys. And to have separate play times with each cat in the beginning. Later, as they begin to bond, to let them play together as a means of bonding. But in the beginning, to have separate play times so that everybody feels they're getting the same amount of attention.
And particularly that the old cat doesn't become jealous or resentful
Right.
of your rushing to the, quote, the new kitty.
Right.
Just like the new baby in the
Right.
house.
You don't want to have that situation that develops between the old kid and the new baby develop with your cats.
How long do you think this adjustment, this separation period might last?
It could last a couple of weeks. I
good.
don't think that you should rush it. I think that you should watch your cats and take the cues from them as to how long it should take.
Yeah. I know when we were introducing our cats, I would take them out and put them in this big open cage so that the new cat would feel protected from the old cats, but yet they could interact.
Yeah.
And I had to be careful with it, but that helped. I didn't have a leash, so that's what I had to do.
Yeah, you don't want them to feel like I'm just tossing you to the wolves. And that's what you might feel like, the new kid at school, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want them to feel that.
And they each have to have their separate kitty bed or place to sleep, or their blanket or pillow or what.
Right. They need to know that they are unique individuals, special, and have their own place.
Well, it sounds like us, doesn't it?
Well, I was going to say, a little bit of common sense goes an awful
It
long
really
way.
does. It really does.
Think how we treat, say, bringing different children into the house.
You wouldn't
and
go,
so
well,
on
there's
like
one bed, the two of you can share. You wouldn't do that with a kid.
No, you certainly.
And why would you do that with a cat?
Okay. How about, suppose I've got 2 cats at home and I'm going to bring home a 3rd cat,
That can create some even...
because that's a triangle.
It can. It can create your 2 cats bonding here and leaving someone on the outside. You've heard the tale of 3 kids playing together. The 2 were playing fine, and the 3rd kid comes over, and then
Yes.
things just go haywire. It can happen with cats. Again, the important thing is to give them the scents from the T-shirts or the towels. Let them know that there's another cat coming in, to let them be sure that they each have their own places to eat and sleep, to give them their own separate play times, their own separate toys, their own separate beds, and to make that period of adjustment as long as it takes till they all fit in.
Now, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, really, when you
It really
think about
does.
it. It's common. Of course, you know, we want everything instant in our society. And
This is one of those things you can't rush.
no, you can't rush. And
This is not instant oatmeal.
no. And if you would just do that, so many households that, I mean, it could go smooth. Many cats would find better homes.
At Project Hope or any shelter, a lot of people will take a new cat home and within a matter of hours bring it back and say, he doesn't get along with the other cat.
Exactly.
Well, how do you know in that length of time?
You don't.
You haven't given it a chance.
And you just don't know what wonderful personality in that cat, when he or she feels safe in your environment, you just don't know what joy they're going to bring.
And you've got to give them time to settle down. When they first walk in that door, that's not the cat he's going to be within a matter of minutes. You've got to give him time to come out of his shell, to settle down, to realize, like I said, that you're not going to eat him because you are this big person, and he doesn't know where he is.
Or you're going to abuse him
Or
because
that you're going to abuse him. You don't know what's happened in his past.
exactly. And even if he had a happy or unhappy home, it was still the home he knew. And cats just love their home, as dogs do. And we need to give more care to just yanking them from one environment to the other without realizing that, you know, they have their own emotions.
Right.
So.
Now that we've solved that
Oh,
problem,
yes.
well, at least
No,
we've given
no.
the viewers,
At
I think,
at
some
least
ideas
some
and
ideas,
solutions.
Greg.
We want to take a short break now and listen to another happy tale about Snowball, another one of Donna's cats. And this is especially interesting, so give a listen.
This is a happy tale about Snowball. Snowball is deaf. Because he can't hear, he has a few quirks that make some people not want to adopt cats like him. That's why he had to wait at Project Hope for so long before his mom and dad finally found him and took him home. For instance, he startles easily, and when he's scared, he tends to attack. Mom, though, has figured out just to flick the lights on and off to warn him before she comes into a room. And Dad will wave at him or stomp on the floor to get his attention before he rushes into a room and scares him. With a few adjustments, Mom and Dad have learned to get along with Snowball just fine.
Welcome back. Isn't that a wonderful story about Snowball? And again, let's just emphasize the fact that cats that have handicaps, if you will, they're not perfect, can be some of the most loving and wonderful pets that you can have. So if you have a chance, don't bypass a cat just because they have only one eye or 3 legs or something like that. So, well, we've discussed a number of problems trying to
bringing Kitty home.
Solution. Let's turn now to one that is probably a little
Related
more
to
common. What happens when you bring a dog into a house where there are cats?
Well, y'all are the experts with this. What happened when you brought Wicket home?
Well, we had 3 wonderful cats that just were Nah, it's all right. We had always had a dog,
Ah.
so it was not.
And Wicket's pretty laid back.
As long as you
Well-
don't get his squeaky toy.
So you had to teach the cat that lesson.
Just yeah. Stay away from Wicket's squeaky toys. You
No,
know.
But seriously, is it a good idea to bring a dog into?
It depends on the dog and it depends
Yeah.
on the cat.
Yeah.
Some cats are terrified of dogs. And
Yes.
it's a good idea in the shelter to test the dog and that you're thinking of taking home to a cat to see how they react to cats. We did that a lot at Project Hope. Some dogs were just like, "Hi, it's a cat. Oh, that's great. Hi."
let's play, yeah.
And they make wonderful housemates. And then some just have this innate, I must attack and kill, and it's
Yes.
just not going to work.
Yeah.
And it's important to know that before you take it home.
Well, and also if you can find out whether, let's say, if you're taking a dog home, has the dog been exposed to cats before, or is this a brand new experience? That can be very helpful in terms of making that adjustment.
Right.
And I would think that when the cats and the dog do meet, that dog is on a leash.
Yes, you
A
need to be able to
control-
intervene in a split second, because it can go horribly wrong. If it goes wrong, it can go really wrong.
really wrong, yeah. Particularly if you have a large dog. I definitely would not recommend if you have a large dog, I would not ever bring a kitten home. Because that kitten has no way of protecting itself, and that kitten may not even know how to protect itself. So smaller dogs can still do a lot of damage, but I know a larger dog you just have to watch all the time.
And in this social media age, you know, you read other people's problems on Facebook, and I couldn't help but notice the other day somebody said, I brought a dog home and my older cat is just having a problem because the dog is chasing him everywhere. Is this situation going to work out? And the dog is just lunging at him every time the cat gets near. And I couldn't help but notice people were going, well, the cat surely can just stay away from the dog. And I was like,
oh, how stupid.
no, this is not going to work. This cat was 16, and to have this dog lunging at him every time he gets down, you know,
Yeah,
no.
that's another. You would not want to bring in a brand new dog. If you've got a 16-year-old cat, that is not the time to bring in a dog.
Particularly a dog that doesn't like cats.
Well, exactly. I agree 100%
Yeah.
there. So,
Yeah. And you can, in a shelter, say, can you cat test it? Cat test this dog. I'm interested
that's a
in
good
this dog.
point.
Can you put him with a cat and see how he reacts?
in a controlled
In
environment.
a controlled environment, and they will do that for you.
Yeah, and I would assume if you do bring a dog home that you keep them. If the cats have been there first, then the dog gets confined.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, does it matter if a neighbor brings the dog home or if I bring the dog home?
I would think it would still be better if the neighbor brought the dog home.
Well, Pamela says different. She
Really?
says, yeah, that I should bring. I'm the dog owner. I'm the boss.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I should bring. I guess it really doesn't matter. I should bring the dog home because I should establish with the dog that I'm the boss.
Okay.
And now, in our dog training show that you can also watch, it's a good show on the web, we realized that with Wicket and his barking, we had to show Wicket that we were the boss. Well, we're still working on that. We're still working on
Wicket
that.
greeted me today before the show with about a bark.
Well, that was a friendly bark.
It was. It
you
was.
haven't heard that one to the person who doesn't know.
No, he
It's what's
showed
known.
me he knew who I was immediately. He was like, "Hi, I know her."
It's what's known as the alpha syndrome.
Yeah.
That's what it was referred to, and they're protecting.
Okay.
And,
Well, briefly, let's reverse it. Let's see. We brought the dog to a cat household. How about bringing a cat to a dog household? Anything different?
Well, we want to take the dog with us to the shelter
That's a good idea.
and, put them in a controlled environment there. Say, do you like this cat? Are the two of you going to get along? Shelters provide a wonderful place where you can
Test this
test this out
That's
without committing to the relationship and being feeling stuck with it. This is a good place to say, I've got this dog. Now help me find the right cat for it.
And I think this would take a long time to build up complete trust
Right.
with the dog in the
I
house.
wouldn't ever want to leave them alone for a long time and without me being somewhere near them.
And for other reasons, when we're gone, we kennel. We put him in his kennel when we're gone. Not that we don't trust him, but for other reasons. But if I had any doubt,
Right.
then I definitely, if I was not there, the dog would be confined or kenneled,
Right.
which does not hurt them, and is playing it safe.
Right. I could not live with the thought that one of my pets injured another of my pets.
No, I couldn't either. But I mean, you know, we both love both dogs and cats. So anyway, well, I can't believe it's getting that.
you get through me
Donna,
quick.
Yes.
1 point you want our viewers to remember.
As they bring someone home, just remember to give them time to adjust, and if you give them time to get acclimated to the situation and don't just throw in the towel from the beginning, you can get past a whole range of the things that in the beginning you can think this isn't going to work,
Right.
and you can be surprised at how it turns out in the end.
That is wonderful advice.
Well, and it also boils down to just using some common
It
sense.
does.
Well, common sense sometimes is a rare commodity. So
Yeah.
but I agree
But-
with you, Greg.
But just keep in mind that our animals are just like humans. If you treat them with
Treat
respect
them special.
and treat them special, just like you would another human being, then you probably will minimize your problems to a great
Yes,
extent.
yes.
And I think giving the two sources here, and of course there's
Yes.
a lot of other sources. You have to be a little careful when you get up on the web, because anybody can put anything up
Exactly.
there. So you need to kind of do your homework.
Go
a
to her
bit.
website, Pamela Johnson Bennett.
Right.
Okay.
Do your homework and figure out what's going on.
She's a great resource.
So,
She is a great resource.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Donna, it's just been a wonderful time.
Yes.
It just goes so quickly when we get together.
Well,
and
thank you.
You've given some really wonderful ideas this afternoon, and we certainly do appreciate that.
I've
And so,
enjoyed being here.
We'll have to see what we can do about future shows with you, Donna.
Yes.
All right.
See if we can work that out. So,
All right.
in closing, I'm Greg,
I'm Darlene.
and we want to tell our viewers to remember, give your pet a little extra love today
And every day.
See you next time.
Bring Kitty home. Bye.